R. Kelly sexually abused Aaliyah when she was 13 or 14, witness says. The witness, a former backup performer, says she walked in on the singers as they were engaged in a sex act around 1993, 1 year before they were illegally married. A former backup performer for R. Kelly testified that she saw R. Kelly engaging in a sex act with the R&B singer Aaliyah around 1993, when Aaliyah was only 13 or 14 years old. The woman, who testified under only the name Angela, told jurors at R. Kelly's criminal trial in Brooklyn that she was performing with R. Kelly on tour when she went to visit the singer on his tour bus. But as she began to open the door, Angela said she saw R. Kelly, who was in his mid-20s at the time, and Aaliyah in a sexual situation. She told jurors Aaliyah was seated in a chair, she said, and R. Kelly was kneeling and appeared to be performing a sex act on the girl. Angela closed the door abruptly and said she never spoke with R. Kelly about what she saw. The testimony came on the 15th day of R. Kelly's trial, during which 6 accusers, including Angela, have said that R. Kelly had sex with them while they were underage. But Angela's account stood apart from others like Aaliyah, who R. Kelly married illegally in 1994. From the others, Aaliyah, whom R. Kelly married illegally in 1994, is the youngest girl that the singer has been accused of sexually abusing. And Angela became the first accuser to testify that she has seen the two engage in sexual acts. Aaliyah, who was one of the most celebrated music stars of the 1990s, has been a significant focus of R. Kelly's trial. The marriage of the two singers using falsified documents when Aaliyah was 15 and R. Kelly was 27 prompted the first significant scrutiny of his encounters with underage girls. Angela said she first met R. Kelly around 1991 when she was between 14 and 15 years old. The singer began to have sex with her while she was underage and a student in high school, she testified. She told jurors that she first met Aaliyah shortly before the young singer began to work on her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, with R. Kelly. Aaliyah traveled on a tour with him to get her feet wet in the industry around 1992 or 1993, Angela told jurors. But it was during that trip, she said, that she saw the two engage in a sexual act. Aaliyah would have been 13 or 14 at the time. On a separate stop in Washington, D.C. during the tour, Angela recalled that she and a group of other girls, including Aaliyah, were reprimanded for breaking the singer's instructions. Angela told jurors that they had made a trip to a 7-Eleven convenience store for food, but that R. Kelly had told them not to leave their hotel. When he learned of their disobedience, he demanded sex, she said. Angela said that she refused the singer's advances, while Aaliyah was among the girls that R. Kelly had addressed. She was not aware whether the two had sexual encounters immediately following that incident. In the mid-1990s, Vibe magazine reported the details of fake identification that was produced so Aaliyah could marry R. Kelly in 1994. Witnesses have said that the union came about because R. Kelly believed that Aaliyah may have been pregnant and feared that he could be prosecuted for statutory rape. If people would have protected Aaliyah, so many other girls wouldn't have gotten touched. A former boyfriend, Damon Dash, said during the second portion of the Lifetime series, Aaliyah was like the sacrificial lamb for all that. Several witnesses during the trial have testified about other aspects of encounters between R. Kelly and Aaliyah. The minister who married the two spoke publicly for the first time earlier this month, telling jurors that he was asked to give his word that he would not discuss their 10-minute wedding ceremony at a Chicago area hotel. And one of the singer's former tour managers, Demetrius Smith, testified that he bribed a government employee for the fake identification for Aaliyah as R. Kelly's inner circle began to plot the marriage. The union was annulled in 1995, and Aaliyah filed to have details of their union expunged from her record 2 years later. Her subsequent albums were produced without R. Kelly, but over time, the friendliest of their exchanges became to raise concerns. Mr. Smith told jurors, "At times I was concerned," he testified. On at least one occasion, Mr. Smith said their behavior had prompted him to ask Robert, "You ain't messing with Aaliyah." Mr. Smith said he meant flirting, being flirtatious, seducing her. is from the New York Times. If you want to look it up yourself, all you gotta do is look up Aaliyah and R. Kelly, and it should bring up a bunch of different media sites covering this. And I mean, this has really gotten messy, and if I do say so myself, I feel like the parents are the ones who jeopardized Aaliyah's image, and that's why this will not rest even 20 years later. And as you can see, the testifier Angela said that she walked in on Aaliyah and R. Kelly in a sexual act in around 1993, which would have made Aaliyah 13, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, where was everyone who let Aaliyah go on tour with R. Kelly? I mean, is it really worth a career for your daughter to send her traveling at the age of 13 with a 25-year-old or mid-20s-year-old? And like I read, Angela said that she saw R. Kelly, who was in his mid-20s at the time, and Aaliyah in a sexual situation. She also said that she saw Aaliyah sitting in a chair, and I'm guessing R. Kelly was kneeling near that chair in between her legs and doing horrible things. And this supposedly happened around the time Aaliyah was 13, which would have been 1993. And it's just sad that her family let this go on like this. This is really horrible. This is really sad, and it's pathetic how no one within her family other than her uncle is speaking out about this. And while I'm speaking on her uncle, I'm gonna see if I can find this article that was speaking on it. And basically it says that he's throwing his sister under the bus. It says Barry Hankerson says Aaliyah's mother was aware of R. Kelly abusing Aaliyah, which is really crazy. I mean, I hope this isn't what it says it is. So it just reads, Aaliyah's uncle said her mom knew a lot more than what we thought she knew about the pair's relationship. And while I'm doing this video, I'm just gonna read this article too, and this article is by Revolt. I'll put it on the screen, but if you want to look it up yourself, go ahead. It just says, Barry Hankerson claims his sister Diane, Aaliyah's mother, was aware of the young R&B star's romantic relationship with disgraced singer R. Kelly. Barry Hankerson, Aaliyah's uncle and co-founder of Blackground Records, made the claim during a recent interview with Dr. Oz. And I will be doing a reaction video to that, so stay tuned, subscribe, and be on the lookout. But it also says, during the chat, Barry Hankerson said he didn't have a clue, which I personally call bullcrap. I'm pretty sure he knew. He had to know. But anyways, it says a clue about R. Kelly and Aaliyah's relationship and was completely ignorant to the alleged abuse. However, when asked if other members of Aaliyah's family were aware, he answered, yes, I think my sister knew a lot more than what we thought she knew. Details surrounding R. Kelly's sexual abuse of underage girls and his relationship with Aaliyah have continued to come out amidst the 54-year-old's federal trial. Hankerson signed Aaliyah to Blackground Records when she was 12 years old and later introduced her to Kelly, who produced her debut album Age Ain't But a Number. The pair secretly married in 1994 when Kelly was 27 years old and Aaliyah was just 15. As reported by Revolt, prosecutor Marie Cruz previously claimed that Kelly married the teenager because he thought she was pregnant. One night in 1994, while the defendant was on tour, he got some news about Aaliyah. She thought that she was pregnant, Melendez told jurors. This, of course, was a huge problem for him. Why? Because at the time Aaliyah was only 15 years old, and if she was pregnant, that meant that there would be questions, a lot of questions. So the defendant and his circle came up with a plan that would keep him out of jail if anyone found out. Kelly and Aaliyah's illegal union was later annulled, however, by the teenager's parents. More recently, one of R. Kelly's former backup dancers testified that she saw a bump and grind singer sexually assault Aaliyah on a tour bus in 1993 when she would have been 13 or 14 years old. The dancer, who was listed in court, records as Angela claims Kelly also sexually abused her when she was between 14 and 15 years old. Kelly is currently on trial in New York for multiple federal charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering. So as you can see, Diane's own brother is going against her, and if you want my opinion, I would say that I think Barry knew too. He had to know what type of artist R. Kelly was before he even introduced him to Aaliyah. I mean, This is just all nonsense, and it's sad that Diane's brother is throwing her under the bus like this. I feel like they're all bad, and it just seems like Barry Hankerson is coming for the mother. And if the mother is the only one who took part in this, it would explain the allegations or accusations of her messing around with R. Kelly too. And like I said before, she looked like she was one of those mothers who would be interested in younger guys. I don't know, you guys, this is really messy, but I definitely believe it. There is one picture of Aaliyah on the tour bus, and this is just really sick. Like, just imagine she was being abused for 3 years. 3 years straight. 13, 14, and well, 15, they got it annulled, but 2 years, if you will. Probably at the age of 12 as well, but who in their right mind as a parent would send their daughter or their 13, 14-year-old on tour, probably city to city, state to state, doesn't matter, with a mid-20-year-old? Like, I feel like whoever took part in this in her family set her up and knew the possibilities of letting that happen. And it's not just Diane. I don't want to seem like I'm bashing Diane, but Diane is the only parent that I know. I don't know any other parents that are, you know, involved with this, but all the women who are speaking against R. Kelly, their parents too should be in trouble. And I personally don't think that any of her family deserves to benefit off of Aaliyah. And man, I would really like to know what Aaliyah went through at the time. Like, I can't imagine. And I noticed that people keep mentioning that Damon Dash said that Aaliyah told him that R. Kelly was a bad man. I just can't imagine Aaliyah even speaking upon R. Kelly to Damon, because Damon was working with R. Kelly and so was Jay-Z. So I just find it hard to believe that she would even mention anything about her situation to him. But anyways, I would really like to know how Diane feels with this new information that has now come out. Like, more in depth of Aaliyah and R. Kelly is wild, and this whole situation with Diane and her brother, and how he's now coming out throwing her under a bus by saying that she already knew about this relationship that Aaliyah had going on with R. Kelly. And I mean, you just had Barry Hankerson weeks prior in an interview saying how he loved his sister and that he tries to do everything she wants, but not even weeks later or a month, he does another interview throwing his sister in front of a bus. I mean, this is some family, and here I thought that they were top notch, but nope, they have so many skeletons in their closet. I would hope that this situation couldn't get any worse than what it is right now, but I think I'm gonna end this video right here. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Do you remember that one night when we fell in love? What we had felt so right, 'cause we had trust. Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up, you know the feelings deep inside. So what's you, what we've been through?